Now moving on to USD Swiss, on the daily time frame, we can see we've had that break structuring towards the upside. We have our swing low and we have our swing high. Now I would also like to say that we've had this internal break of structure here, so therefore this low for me is protected, and if we were to see a break of this low, I'd definitely be reevaluating my bias. But considering where we are, it's highly unlikely that we are going to see a break of this low, especially with the Swiss franc currently intervening in the currency to weaken it, whilst the USD is currently being supported based on the geopolitics. But for now, for me, I said last week, personally, I do want to see a liquidation of some significant points of liquidity before we can then look for that higher probability, higher conviction play. As you can see, right now we are trading after this break of structure, and we are trading in premium pricing. And when I'm looking for longs, I definitely like to be closer to the 50% of the fib. So for now, for me, I'm just sort of being a bit cautious with this pair. If we do go down onto the 4-hour time frame, what we can see is if you look at the overall bigger picture, we have this 4-hour break here, swing low, swing high, and therefore some significant points of liquidity needs to be taken, like the daily time frame suggests, before we see that next upside move. However, if you do look and are happy to trade on the internal structure, we can see that for now, this is the internal swing low. Let me clear it up a little bit more. This is the internal swing low after this break of structure. And if we come down and we liquidate any of these points of liquidity, you could then look for that confirmation to look for the next long position. Just remember that this is slightly lower probability because you're trading quite far into premium. We are also trading after this break of structure, and there's still a big points of liquidity that are still open that you ideally would like to see taken. But it is an opportunity nonetheless. Now, moving on to USD Yen, we can see that we've still had this 4-hour break of structure, and we are still pushing pricing towards the upside. Now, based on what my understanding of the Bank of Japan has been saying, it does seem like they will intervene, but I think we will see slightly higher prices up towards that 165 level. But for me personally, I'm not willing to bet the house on it, and I'm not willing to trade it long. I want to just wait for that short position and potentially just set a limit on around the 165 levels. Finally, onto USDCAD, on the daily time frame, we've had that break of structure in towards the upside, and this is the current swing range that we are trading within. Now, ideally, from a liquidity perspective, we'd like to see some of these points get taken before we look for that next long position, but there is quite a big gap between where price is and where we want price to be, and with the support in the US dollar, we might not actually see that retracement down as far as what we would like before we see that next upside move. The 4-hour is relatively similar. We've got the 4-hour break here, swing low, swing high. Ideally, I'd like to see all of this get taken before we look for that next move.